Here on the left, we have the Oak Bluffs police station, even though it is not needed. So again, there is a police station in every town. If you take a look on the left side of the bus, here we have the flying horses. The flying horses, it is the oldest operating carousel in the entire United States of America. The oldest operating carousel. And it is right here at Martha's Vineyard. This road on the left, it is called Circuit Ave. But here on the island, locals here, they call it the Vegas of the Vineyard. We have another popular restaurant coming up on the right, the Nancy's Restaurant. And it is also Obama's favorite restaurant here. And when he used to vacation as president, his eldest daughter, she worked here as a cashier. So this is Obama's favorite restaurant here on the island, the Nancy's Restaurant. If you take a look in front of the building, there is a shark in front of it. And that shark, it was a record catch. Shark tournament was very popular here on the island, hosted by ESPN, and that was a record catch. It was caught by the owners of Nancy's. Oak Bluffs was formerly called Cottage City because of these famous gingerbread houses. In 1835, a reverend by the name of John Adams came to Martha's Vineyard. He came here with 50 people and they built 9 tents. They got tired of the tents, so they built 500 gingerbread houses with only 330 remaining, with just 10% winterized. So you know that they are mostly used just for the summer. At the center of this settlement, there is a tabernacle, and the same architect who designed the Eiffel Tower is the same architect designed that tabernacle. In the settlement, there are very strict rules. No smoking, no drinking, no loud music. But this homeowner coming up on the right, he was very disobedient. And that's why his house, it is no longer in the rest of the settlement. Some of those houses are for sale. The going price, it is $500,000 to $800,000 for one. So if there is anyone interested in buying any, remember to purchase one for me. In the summer, every August, third Wednesday every August, there is a night called Illumination Night. That's where Japanese lanterns are hung from those houses, and thousands of residents flock that settlement, and that celebration signifies the end of summer. The year-round population on the island, it is approximately 25,000 people living year-round. 25,000. But in the peak season, the population, it goes from 25,000 to over 250,000 people. A big difference, right? I remember my first winter, I was standing in Oak Bluffs for 2 hours and there was no one else around. But in the busy season, when you are in Oak Bluffs, you can hardly find anywhere to stand. Only 40% of the houses here on the island, they are occupied year round. Just 40%. This road here, it is the only state highway here. The only state highway. So if there is anyone speeding, this will be the only road that they will be speeding on. And the fastest you can go here, it is 45 miles per hour. That is the fastest you can go at Martha's Vineyard. And if you don't want to be speeding here on the island, especially west side of the island, coming up on the left, we have the only state police station here, the Massachusetts State Police Station, looking like a lovely house right here in the town of Oak Bluffs. So on the left, this is the only state police station here. Looking like a lovely house, right? Only state police station here. The first hospital here on the island, it was built in 1763 from a resident from Nantucket by the name of Dr. Samuel Galston. Galston, he came to the island in the 1700s to help with smallpox, but he had no financial help. And this building here on the right, it was the first hospital here, built in 1763. It kept its original shape, original door, original look, and it is now being used as Airbnb today. The population improved over the years. We now have the main hospital located on the left side of the bus. So this is now the main hospital, built in 1922. So that's the main hospital here. That hospital, it handles most emergencies. But if there is anything too critical, there is a helicopter readily available to rush them to the Boston Hospital. It was renovated through charity. Coming up straight ahead are the only stop lights here. There are no other stop lights here. There are 2 here and 2 on the other end, and they are always green. On the left, we have the Vineyard Haven Lagoon, used for fishing and kayaking. Here on the right, we have the most natural protected harbor here. It spans approximately 1 mile inwards. It is protected by the West Shop Loop straight ahead and the East Shop Loop behind us. 3 years ago, there was a huge shark right over here on the right. Straight ahead, we have the year-round dock, the Tisbury dock. On that dock, it is open for the entire year. And that is where the Steamship Authority docks. The Steamship Authority are the only ferries that transport cars, trucks and buses to the island. And that is how we get our groceries. So we call those ferries the lifeline to the island. They run from as early as 6 a.m. and the last one leaves at 9:30 p.m. Here on the right coming up, this is where the island's oil is stored. They barge their own oil right over here on the right. On the left, we have the Vineyard Shipyard. They build their own fiberglass boats right over here on the left. When they finish building fiberglass boats, they are sent right across the road down this ramp for testing. This dock here on the right, it is the only dock here that can dock yachts. So celebrities and millionaires living on the island who own yachts, this is where their yacht will be docked. 6 years ago, when Oprah Winfrey came to the island for Obama's birthday party, this was where her yacht was docked. My yacht, it is not out there today. If we take a look at the top of the map, we are now in the town of Tisbury. So we are now north of the island. And this town here, it is the year-round town. So most locals, they live in the town of Tisbury year-round. This building on the left, it is the wind farm head office. It is a new building, that is why it is built like this. Whenever there are high tides here on the island, the ocean here, it will always come over and flood this road. So that's why this building, it is built like this, elevated. So whenever there are high tides here, they can remain open for the day. And last week, we had high tides here. So all this road, the road here, it was shut down. So everyone had to detour. Lots of traffic on the island this time of the year. We are now in peak season. So every day up until Labor Day, a whole lot of traffic going to be here on the island. Here on the right, we have our very own newspaper, the NV Times. It doesn't look like the New York Times, right? But this building here on the right, it is actually operational. Coming up straight ahead, we have 5 corners. It is called 5 corners because it is 5 roads coming into one intersection. And this intersection here, it is the busiest here on the island. Because there are no stoplights or no police officers directing traffic, what the locals, they do here on a very busy day, they close their eyes and drive straight through and hope for the best. So whenever someone stops here, you can tell they're not from the island. No local stops here. So it is called 5 corners because of the 5 roads. And here on the island, we don't give anything any fancy names. We call it exactly how we see it. You see the 5 roads? My eyes are closed right now, right? This big blue building on the left coming up, it was the first fire station here. It is now being used as a hotel. So this was the first fire station here, now being used as a hotel. This big blue building on the right, it is also another hotel. But it was burned down twice, with the fire station being right across the road. Here on the right, we have downtown Tisbury. Down that road, there are coffee shops, ice cream shops, jewelry stores, restaurants, and approximately 2 miles, we have the West Shop Lighthouse. When 90% of the businesses in other towns shuts down after Columbus Day, 90% of the businesses here in Tisbury remain open year-round. But in the busy season, this town here, it is not very busy or not very populated. That is because the town of Tisbury, it is considered to be a dry town. No alcohol is sold in this town. The only 2 towns you can purchase alcohol are Oak Bluffs and Edgartown. And can you guess, those 2 towns, they are the busiest here on the island.